Next up, I'm going to give you some tips on how to think about um, developing some level of detail in your facade. So again, most of you have buildings like this, maybe a rhino model that's very low detail. You're just working through the massing. Maybe use this to develop your physical model. And again, this is a big site, and so it's unrealistic to develop the whole site with the appropriate amount of material and facade detail, determining where all windows go, etc. So, what I would suggest is that you think about a lower level of detail for your projects. And so, one way that I was doing this was to think about just using the lines from the massing of your model um, and starting to think about kind of larger openings. So, what I would do, maybe just create a new layer and then start to essentially use hatches, to develop lines that give it some detail, but maybe aren't like kind of full detail. Okay, so if we have a planar curve here, for example, you could just say, use a hatch, type in hatch, um, give this a scale. We can start to look at something maybe like that. Just kind of work your way around. Maybe you change it up. So really just kind of starting to draw in some information. And the way I would think about this is it's starting to look like materials, but you don't have to necessarily figure it out as a whole. So I've done this already. I did a couple of rounds, and eventually what I did is I started to bring my plans back in. So here's my co-living situation. I have a row of bedrooms on this side, so I decided actually maybe we could do a clerestory lighting here so that there's daylight, but there's privacy as well. Maybe there's a couple of areas over here where there's more windows, more daylight. And then I didn't develop the third floor plan, but I just copied up the second floor plan, assuming that it would be similar, added in some more clerestory lights, bigger windows on the side. So you can see that you have some information again. It's not quite full facade detail, but it starts to get you thinking about the composition of materials and pattern at the scale of a building. And I can think it kind of give you enough information that is appropriate for a project like this. So play around with that. And then again, think about maybe your plans are, where would there be windows, what makes sense for daylighting, etc., and then try using that as the basis for a development of some kind of, let's say, low resolution facade.